Hey YouTube, it is your girl Sharonda Patrice and I'm back with another video. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Today we're going to get started on our first lesson of the Fruit of the Spirit series. So first of all, the Fruit of the Spirit are positive attributes and tools that we need to fight temptation and corruption. So just like physical fruit that is planted, it gets rooted, it grows, it needs water, all stuff like that. So does our spiritual fruit. Our spiritual fruit is not going to happen overnight. It is going to take time to grow in us. So today we are talking about love. That's going to be our first fruit of the Spirit is love. So love we know to be is an action word, right? In our culture, love is becoming more of a selfish action instead of a selfless action. And 1 Corinthians 13:4-8, I'm going to read from the NIV version. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And I'm just going to stop it right there on verse 8. So when I say our culture is becoming selfish instead of selfless, in this verse it says love is not self-seeking, which means that we shouldn't be focused on self, but we should be selfless when it comes to loving others. So in our English language, we just use love. So when we say love, it just seems to be like a broad word. So the Greek language has 4 different words for the word love. So it has eros, philia, storge, and agape. And so it's important for us to know the difference between those types of love, because you don't love fried chicken like you love your hubby. You don't love tacos like you love your mama. So we have to distinguish the love, because the English language, again, only has love, and there's no way that we can love food the same way we love our spouse, our children, our church members, God, etc. So let's go through those 4 words individually. So first word we're going to talk about is eros. So eros means intimate love between 2 people. It's found a lot in the Old Testament. Specifically want to talk about Song of Solomon, where that basically is him expressing his passionate love for his wife, and vice versa as his wife expresses passionate love towards him. So just an example, Song of Solomon 1:2-4 says, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is an ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee. Draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine, the upright love of thee. So that's just an example of what I mean by a love between 2 people, like a love between spouses. The second word is philia, which means love for friends and community, also known as brotherly love. And just a little fun fact, that's where Philadelphia gets the name from. Well, that's why they say brotherly love, the state of brotherly love, because philia means brotherly love. So just a few scriptures on that is Romans 12:10, and that says, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. And then Hebrews 13 says, Hebrews 13 and 1 says, let brotherly love continue. So we can see that in the Bible, it is commanded that we use philia. You know, we use brotherly love. We love our churches and our friends and our neighbor. Like it is commanded of us to love our brothers and sisters. The next word is storge, which is a familial love, which mostly is thought of as love from a parent to a child. So examples would be Noah. So Noah loved his wife, and he loved his sons and his daughters-in-law. Also Jacob, with the love that he had for his sons. So that is what we mean by storge. And so then our last word of love is agape. And so agape is love between God and man, and then vice versa. Agape is the greatest form of love. In the fruit of the Spirit, when Paul talks about love, he is referring to agape love. Also, in 1 Corinthians, what we just read earlier, 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8, where it's about love is patient, love is kind, that love is also referring to agape love. And so agape love is a sacrificial love, meaning that you're willing to die for somebody even though they don't deserve it. And I know that there's not a lot of people out there that's going to die for somebody that they don't love, or even if they love somebody, they may not be willing to die for them. So it's just one of those loves that's kind of extreme. You know what I'm saying? It's an extreme love, but God loves us so extremely, we should love him extremely back. So, of course, an example of this is Jesus, where John 3:16, he died on the cross for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And then also John 15 and 13, which says, greater love hath no man than this, than a man who lays down his life for his friends. So that is agape love. That's an example of agape love. So the question that comes to my mind is, okay, agape love being the greatest love, agape love is something that is shown from God to man and man to God. Is it possible for us to show agape love to others? And the answer is yes. And in fact, that's what God expects from us, is to show agape love to others. Okay, so in the Good News Bible, in Galatians 5:22, it says, but the Spirit produces love. So if the Spirit produces love in us, that means that we should inhabit the love. And if we inhabit the love, that means we should be exhibiting the love to others. So we would exhibit the agape love to others. So are you willing to die for somebody tomorrow? Maybe not. Probably not. But again, like we talked about at the beginning, fruit takes time to grow. So whether it be physical or spiritual, it's not going to happen overnight. So agape love, if you feel like you don't inhabit agape love, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a process, which means you have to get into your word, you have to pray, you have to build communication with God in order to feel and receive that agape love. And then once it inhabits in you, once you receive that fruit of love, of agape love, then you'll express it to other people. So like, we all exhibit eros, storge, and philia. Okay, eros, which is our spouse, an intimate relationship between two, you didn't love your spouse when you first met them. When you first met, well, they do say love at first sight, but you don't love your spouse when you first meet them immediately. You know what I'm saying? For philia, we don't immediately love our church community or immediately love our friends when we first meet them. And then as far as Storge, it takes 9 months of the baby being in the womb to build a love with the baby. So it's all of it's really a process. And so we shouldn't be upset if we feel like we're not in the space that we should be, because again, it's just all a process. God does expect agape love to dwell in you. So don't say, well, I don't need it, because God does expect it to dwell in you, but he does understand that it's going to take some time to grow in you. So that is all I have for today on our first fruit of the Spirit, love. So if you can like, comment, share, and subscribe so you won't miss a thing. I will see you next time, and bye.